It's been a while. In fact, it has been a whole pandemic since I last posted anything on YouTube. A lot has happened, a lot of pictures have been taken, videos have been shot, situations have changed, opinions have been formed, and insights have been gathered. I might get back to you about some of these things, but first let's go back to the recent past because I got to test this camera. It's the X-H2s, Fujifilm's new flagship camera. Disclaimer. I am an official Fujifilm ambassador and I was commissioned by Fujifilm Belgium to test this camera. However, my opinions are not for sale, and if you choose not to believe that, I suggest you do us all a favor and just stop watching my videos instead of filling the comments with your frustration-infested shit. The goal for this project was to make some test pictures and a short film about a challenging subject. We also made a behind-the-scenes video about my experiences in Dutch and in French. And especially for you, we also made an English version. And that's what I'm going to show you right now. I have the new X-H2s in my hands. I was asked by Fujifilm to review this camera or to test it, and so I asked a group of friends, gravel cyclists, to help me out, make a little video and make some pictures with this new camera. It has the new sensor, it has the new processor, which means that everything will be a lot faster than before, and I'm really curious to see how all this will work and how the video capabilities of this camera will turn out. Just a little disclaimer, this is a pre-production camera, which means that it is not yet the final version with the final version of the firmware that will be in the stores soon. So that means that things might still change a bit, but in my experience with Fujifilm, that only means that the final version will be even better. I always love the classic retro dials of the Fujifilm cameras. That's one of the main reasons why I went to Fujifilm in the first place. This camera doesn't have them, but for the kind of camera it is, I think it is probably the best choice. If you are looking for a hybrid camera, you want to be able to switch really fast from one setting to another. I have mine programmed because you have lots of custom functions. You have 7 custom functions. Like my custom function 1 is video in 4K with 25 frames. Custom function 2 is 50 frames. Custom function 3 is 120 frames. 4 is pictures. 5 is action pictures. 6 is pictures in black and white. Doesn't matter, but you can set all those things in these individual custom settings. So with just one turn of this dial, you can have a completely different feature set, which in my opinion is a big advantage. The grip is very deep and very sturdy, and definitely if you're working with bigger lenses, if you're working with microphones, monitors, it definitely helps the stability and the feel of the camera. The camera in general feels very, very sturdy, and I have no doubt that it will stand up to professional work and working in less than ideal conditions. On the left side of the camera, there's plenty of ports. For the first time, we have a full-size HDMI, which I think is great if you want to work with a monitor or an external recorder. It's a much safer and stable connection. You also have a microphone port and a headphone port and a USB port, so no dongles, and everything is accessible from the body of the camera itself. The screen flips out and turns in any direction that you need it to turn. I find that very useful for video, and if you think it's in the way, you can always close it and use it like this, or protect your screen by just closing it this way. It's a matter of personal preference. I think that in some situations I like the more classical setup of the X-T3, for example, and in other situations I prefer this. I was very curious to test out the new autofocus algorithms and system, and I'm not disappointed, not at all. The subject tracking is pretty impressive. Face and eye detect works really well, even at f1.4, and at a distance the camera recognizes faces very quickly and very precisely. We also have subject tracking now, where we can follow animals, birds, planes, automobiles, everything, and it tracks it really well, even in video. Autofocus is just one aspect of speed, but I feel like in general this camera is a lot easier and faster to operate. With the new processor of the 5th generation and the new sensor of the 5th generation, we can have options that we have never seen before. Definitely in video we have 6K, we have 4K, up to 120 frames per second. We can shoot 240 frames per second in HD. We can shoot ProRes, we can shoot RAW, we can shoot H.265, H.264. We all have these options, so you have a setting for everyone in any situation. And I believe that that is a big game changer for people like me who are shooting both stills and video. The Speed also has something to thank for with the new cards. The camera has a classic SD card slot, but also a CF Express Type B slot. And this allows to have these high video bit rates and at the same time shoot at 40 frames per second stills with the electronic shutter and 15 frames with the mechanical shutter. And this basically without having any issues with buffering. I've been pretty impressed with the IBIS, the in-body image stabilization. For stills, I can shoot at ridiculously low shutter speed with the camera just in my hands, no tripods. But mostly for video I'm impressed, because the IBIS allows me a lot of natural movement, because it takes away like the shocks and the little trembles, but keeps the whole movement natural. Most compact cameras, if you put a lot of bitrate through them in video, they heat up. But I have to say that for me, during this whole day, I never had any problems with heat, and I'm pretty sure that you have to push this camera really far before it overheats. But should you need extra cooling because you're doing extremely long recordings at high bit rates, then there is the optional cooling fan, which you can simply screw on to the camera, and then you will not have any problems with heat at all. Fujifilm has announced not just one battery grip, but two. This one is the classic battery grip. You just have 2 extra batteries, and by the way, the battery life is excellent with this new camera. And you have the vertical grip. This one has network connectivity on top of that, so there's extra batteries, extra power in it, but you can also connect it better over Wi-Fi than with just a body, or you can use it over a network cable for fast file transfers and even multi-camera options for video. Today's test has really impressed me. I'm really impressed by the new X-H2s. I've already pre-ordered my own copy, and I'm looking forward to see what I can do with it in the future when it comes to video and action. The short film we produced is also up on my channel. It's in Dutch, but for those few people in the world who don't speak Dutch, I've added English captions. And if you go to my website, you'll also see some of the test pictures. The videos are there as well. And there's also a link to the Fujifilm X website where I wrote down some of my experiences with the new X-H2s. One of my experiences is that the name is difficult to pronounce. X-H2s. For me, this will mainly be a camera for video, but it will come in handy when I have to shoot action as well. This new generation of processor and sensor is a big technological leap in the Fujifilm X ecosystem, and I'm really excited to see what new opportunities that it will give me in my filmmaking and my photography. And maybe, just maybe, this camera will stop me from waiting another 2 years to make a new YouTube video.